So if you've been watching the progress of this 2002 Zinc Yellow Mustang GT, you'll know the car was in a severe accident by the previous owner and that I had drilled out the spot welds and pulled the whole front clip off the car, and I had installed another front clip off of a Mach 1 Mustang, which would be the same as any Mustang. And this whole front piece sits in the frame rails and was welded in nicely, and so it's pretty strong. And you do have the K-member, which is basically the cradle that holds the wheels and the engine, and that bolts to the red part and to the yellow body, so it's bolted in place pretty strong. And here you can see, this was before I got it welded, but you can see it was all put in place where it should go, and then my friend came over and welded the whole front of the car in. Well, I really wanted to strengthen up the front end, and I thought there was a really clever way to do that. And the way that is getting a brace that comes only on convertible Mustangs, and it ties the K-member to the body. And so I think that's pretty cool. I'll show you here in a little bit where that is. There's actually some factory threaded holes on every Mustang, whether it was a coupe or convertible, as they went down the assembly line, and those are used for the convertible brace. So here's a Mustang GT at the wrecking yard. I would have loved to get the solid axle off this car. I would have loved to get the whole car and just put it back on the road because it looked pretty good. Pretty sad to see, the seats were a little torn up, but, it was a cool Mustang, and it was a GT, so really too bad to see. But somebody had already gotten the hood scoop off while I was there, so the parts are getting picked off of it. But here it is, 4.6-liter GT. Really sad to see somebody did that. Looks like they hid some radio bezels in there for later too. But anyway, underneath a convertible, which is here at the wrecking yard, this is what I'm after. It's a convertible brace for extra strength, and you can see right underneath here, this is what it looks like. And it has some holes here, and I'll show you where these are all going to go. I've already removed some of them, but they're just bolted in. So all you have to do is unbolt all these places and take the hardware with you, because you don't want to have to go look for hardware. You might as well take it while you have it out. Some people will get in a rush and they'll just drop it, and then they have to go find hardware. But I love the OEM hardware, so I took it. I got some other things like a wheel liner, because my yellow GT was missing that on the passenger side. And here's the brace. So I was really excited to get that. It was a little bit oily and dirty, as to be expected, so I just wanted to wash all these parts off and install them on the yellow GT. So most of this is just dirt, from over the years of driving in the rain and, just dusty roads and stuff. I've used Simple Green before on these, and they clean up pretty nicely. Then I cleaned up the K-member brace, and I used some Scotch-Brite and some degreaser and stuff and got it really clean. I noticed that it had a little bit of surface rust on the inside of one of the bracings, that you wouldn't see because it's up against the body, and so I decided to clean that up. I did also notice that there were a few little road rash scrapes on this brace, obviously just from, normal driving, nothing crazy, but it had gone through the painted material and the bare metal was exposed, so I wanted to clean that up and put some paint on it too. So I started by sanding this top area. This is what I was talking about where some of that surface rust was. It wasn't bad at all. Then I moved on to a wire wheel with a drill, and that really knocked a lot of that off. And it wasn't bad at all, just something that I wanted to clean up a little bit. So this probably would have been perfectly fine, but I just wanted to clean it up like this. And I could have just left it, but I just like making it really nice and putting it under the car. And then I went ahead and started putting a couple coats of black paint on there, and that should help keep it from getting rusted. So that looked pretty good. I was very happy about it. I went around and just kind of touched up the spots where the scrape marks were. But I was just really happy with this brace. It was like $16 is what I paid at the wrecking yard for it. And it's just something that you couldn't make for that price. And it's so well engineered. And the big test here is going to be, will it fit the car? because I put that whole front clip on the car, and we'll see if the measurements that I did were correct or not, because if it was off, then these bolts aren't going to line up. And I'm sure there's a little wiggle room in the bolt holes and the J-clips, just for standard production reasons, but I was actually quite curious to whether this was going to line up exactly how I wanted it to, and if it was going to work right, because the whole front clip of this car has been replaced. So I wanted to start by breaking the wheels loose so that I could zip the lug nuts off once the car is in the air, because I wanted to put that wheel liner in there. But I also wanted the car to be pretty level so that I could get this brace on without having the body tweaked or rolled a little bit, because sometimes the body will flex a little bit when you have it on jack stands and stuff. And so I did that, and then I got the brace out here ready to go, and made sure that everything looked good. I let it dry in the sun for an hour or two. But this is something I've been wanting to do since I put the car back together. I've just been waiting to get one of these braces at the wrecking yard. So here's the hardware all lined up, and I got a wire brush and cleaned up those J-clips and the bolts and everything. And every K-member will have the holes already for those J-clips to slide on. So there's one here, and the clips will slide on those, and you'll see these are the holes that the bolts go up through. And then that right there covers the fuel lines and stuff, and you can see the threaded holes there. Those are ready for the 10 millimeter size ones. Now this bar here gets removed because that's only on coupes. This is integrated into the convertible brace. So here's some of these J-clips, and they just kind of slide in, and in this case it pushed a little bit of dirt and stuff through there that was on the K-member from all those years of driving. And I would recommend do not use power tools on these. Do these by hand because they strip really easy. And so I luckily had some extra ones. But here's another one for the back where that bar was that we're replacing with this entire brace. And so here it is hanging up, and you can see, look how good these holes line up, just so perfect. And there's some of these on the back side here, like this one, and this is like a 10 millimeter one, and it threaded right in. I would recommend shooting some WD-40 up in there too, clean out that hole a little bit. But here's this awesome brace on here, and you can see how it ties the K-member to the body. There's a little shield for the fuel line and brake lines there. And so that's a really neat looking piece, and I really like how that worked out. So it lined up perfectly. I'm very happy about that. That shows that the work I did on the car was really good, and I'm very happy about that. Then I got the wheel liner here, and you have to take off the side skirt front cap piece here, the spats. And so this just kind of pops into place here, and it's really only held in by the screws on the front and back side, like the front lower bumper and the rear side skirt area. And then of course there's a little flap here that goes underneath the side skirt end cap and just kind of slides in. And then when you put this on, there's little push pins that go up through the bottom of it, and then you put the screw in to hold it in place. So that worked out really well. So I got that all installed and then put the wheel back on. And I really wanted to do this because I don't want to drive this car in the rain and have it splash the air filter. That shield, that wheel well liner, helps protect the air filter from sucking water up, possibly hydrolocking the engine too. So that worked nicely. Just dropped the car, got it back on the ground, and torque down the wheel and everything. And I also have a few pieces that I got from the wrecking yard that I'm really excited to put on this car. We'll go in the garage now and I'll show you what those were. These are technically defrost vents on the top of the dash, and the car was missing them already, and it looks really terrible without them. Every one of them I found looked like it was kind of cracked on the driver's side, but it didn't really matter because we'll just put some black Permatex in there and kind of glue them in. So no big deal there, but I wanted to clean those up too. So we got those, and then here's the black RTV. And you can see how terrible this looks without it. It's like one of the worst things about the interior on this car. You look in there and you see it right away. So I put some around the bottom rim of that, a little bit on the edge there too, but I don't think it helped as much as the bottom rim. So that turned out nicely. Now these vents are busted up too, and they were missing when I bought the car. Those were extra ones I already had. So I got all of these vents out of this driver's side on the cars that were in the wrecking yard because they were all in good shape. All the other ones were broken, but I just pry each side out very gently here with a screwdriver. They fall right out. And that was kind of dirty in there, so I thought, let's clean this up. So I cleaned it up first, and then I came back to pop these in. But yeah, I got them all out of this area. The vents are all interchangeable, and so every Mustang in the wrecking yard had a good vent right here by the driver's side knee, but the other ones were cracked, so that worked nice, clicked right into place, and works very nice. So I'm very happy about that. Passenger side, same story. These were missing when I bought the car, and it's just so nice to get these back in here. And I want to just get as many of those as I can every time I go to the wrecking yard, but that's nice. That's going to look so much better. So that's the update for the zinc yellow Mustang GT. Cleaning it up a little bit. I mean, it's not perfect, but it is definitely better than it was when I got it. And I'm very happy and excited about that, especially that brace. I was really wanting to get one of those for this car. I almost was able to bring one home when I got the engine for this car because the engine came out of a convertible, but I had to cut the brace to get the engine out just because of how it was in the wrecking yard. And so it's definitely something I've been wanting to do. It's not like it was super necessary, and I probably won't tell much of a difference, but I can actually see the brace when I'm standing by the car. You can look down by the wheel, and you can actually see the brace down there, so if you have a good eye for it. But I really just thought it was a great idea, and it was something that I wanted to do in the name of safety, just to make that whole front end be tied in a little bit stronger to it, since it was welded in and the K-members kind of holding it in place. So I just thought that was fun. So it worked out nice. The holes lined up. Everything went just great. So thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video and update, and stay tuned for more Mustang content.